Years ago they used to put tobacco in them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ron, what about koa and ohia?
I use ohia leaves and the bark of an older ohia tree. You just go scrape it off, not damaging the tree. But some of this stuff here was ohia bark that some people peeled off from the tree. You know, they've used it for a construction project. But if you're using natural fibers and stuff, it takes a bit to really get a good fire going. You don't really want it hot like that when you're working the bees. So you can get a lot of other material in there, and it stuffs it down in there, and it cools the smoke.
I'm lucky that I have a lot of long leaf pines around the house,
Yeah,
so I'm able to use pine straw. It works really good.
Here, regular ironwood would work real well also.
Would it?
Yeah, the needles of the ironwood.
So it was stated before I was recording that if we put hair in the smoker, that the bees will then leave you alone. And Jeff mentioned that if you put a dryer sheet and you just put it under your hood or put it on the front of your suit, the bees, gnats, and mosquitoes will also leave you alone.
Spreading fire ants around, so just be aware of that. Now, commercial materials, this is a ground up paper product, and once you get a good fire going, this stuff should last a long time.
It's really egg carton material. If you get the paper egg cartons here, you can tear those up. My friend in North Carolina, that's all he uses in his smoker. He cuts them with scissors and everything and puts the egg carton material in the smoker. It works great.
Probably a combination of that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that stuff is that I bought. I bought that from Miller Bee Supply, that bag, and had it mailed over here. And well, that's what that is, compressed cardboard.
Can I try a little bit of that in?
Absolutely. That's what I brought it for. I just didn't want to leave this. I sent these over. I made these up in North Carolina. I made just the end bars, and then I used Don's top bars, and they didn't quite. They weren't the same as mine, and I didn't want to leave a gap for the hive beetles. So we. No.
One of the things about the smoking of
I just
bees,
didn't want to leave an extra place for
no.
There's a lot of natural beekeepers that think it's not a good idea to smoke the bees because it,
just crack right
gives them all kinds of carcinogens and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh, just this.
I'm not really sure about that,
space.
except that bees have been smoked by beekeepers since way back.
Yeah.
The Romans, the Egyptians, and a lot of that, from way back in that time period.
Socrates.
They smoked their bees when they went out to work them. Of course, if you over smoke them, that's not good either, but a little bit of smoke makes the bees engorge honey, and they're a lot more docile or gentle.
It interrupts their pheromone communication. As well as engorging with honey, bees communicate by 28 different pheromone smells that they release. So when you enter smoke into the hive, it messes up their pheromone communication. They all kind of are detached, if you will. So they aren't a cohesive unit. When they're mean when they're a cohesive unit. So anything you can do to disrupt that.
So it doesn't necessarily stupefy them, it just confuses them? One or two get in. I was always under the impression that it more stupefied them than confused them.
Confuse them, they will bury their heads in the cells and start eating honey. That's the forest fire.
No, do you need to have two rows, or could you just put one in with just one row?
You can put one in with one row. When I went to Louisiana, that guy down there was raising 1,500 queens a week. He put four of those on a frame.
Really?
Yeah, but I found that I'd like to keep plenty of distance between, because during a honey flow, when they draw these down, if it's too close to this, they'll start drawing wax to it, and then they'll fill the whole thing up with wax.
Okay.
And if you're in a real heavy honey flow, they'll actually encapsulate those queen cells in a honeycomb. And when that happens, you're in trouble, because even when you get a knife and try to cut them out, the honey will soak the queen cell, and it's paper, and it soaks the moisture in and drowns the queens. I've lost a whole frame of queens because they filled it all in with honeycomb. Okay. So that's why that on the itinerary we're going to check for webbing days 4, 6, and 8. I didn't know what kind of a honey flow was going to be here, so I put that on there just so we make sure we don't run into that problem. Yeah, that makes sense? Okay.